this is Aslan's Compass, and welcome to the 5th and final installment of my thoughts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mid-season finale as part of my Missionary to the Muggles vlog series. The transformations sequence in that chamber was very intense. The visual effects were awesome, especially the shot of Sky blasting away out the rock. But I'm just going to talk a bit here, first of all, about the whole sequence, what I thought of it, what it could mean, and then the clips we get of the rest of the team. Just wow, first of all. The chamber somewhat reminded me of the portal at the end of the Rainbow Bridge in the Thor movies. So I thought possibly it would turn into a spaceship or sort of trans-dimensional portal thing. Glad it didn't, because that means my team is all still on Earth and safe-ish. Definitely safe-ish. Emphasis on ish. Sky and Reyna. Reyna could be, I think there's a 616 character called Reyna who has a sort of reptilian appearance. I'm not terribly interested in Reyna right now, although it would serve her right if her powers were destructive, because she's been a huge pain in the neck this season. Sky. People guessed with the music theme last week that she was Daisy Johnson, daughter of somebody named whose codename was Mr. Hyde. I do not want her called Daisy Johnson, as, I mean, it's fine as an additional tag, but she is Sky, and she will remain Sky until such time as she chooses to adapt the name Daisy, which, let's be honest, I don't think she will, and I don't want her to. She chose the name Sky for a reason, and she's going to keep that, although it is ironic that a character who chose the name Sky for herself would have the birth name of Daisy and cause earthquakes. That is ironic. But, like, the visuals and the way it covered her like a glove, that was fascinating, and it also gives me some very good insight into the Diviner. The Diviner's has like one function, or no, not even function, but like the Diviner has one response to people touching it. It's to eventually to coat them in the black rock armor stuff. But for people who have the Kree, presumably Kree, or GH in their blood, it responds differently and triggers the transformation. It's like it has a two-step process. Step one, cover the guy or gal who touches it in rock metal. But for those who have the genetics, it transforms them somehow or other. It's not like the X-Men, whose powers are there from birth. It's, I think what's called in Marvel canon a mutate versus a mutant, because a different studio owns the M word. So it's a mutate device, and that's part of the reason why Trip didn't make it, because he had none of the GH in his blood. He did not have any of the Kree biology, and so it deemed him unworthy and just killed him. I'm glad Coulson wasn't in there once I saw what happened to him, but on the other hand, Coulson might have had enough of the GH left in him to trigger a transformation similar to Sky and Reyna's. And I might end up writing an IU where that happens, because I'm curious, but yes. Sky is now confirmed, both by the show and by word of God, to be the MCU equivalent of 616 Daisy Johnson, who has earthquake powers. And two, now this is according to Wikipedia, the Marvel Wikipedia, had a very close relationship in building up S.H.I.E.L.D. with Nick Fury in a very similar situation to what we have in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. And it's in a series apparently called Secret Warriors, which I have requested via Interlibrary Loan today. So when that comes in, I'll read that and see if that provides any hints, although interviews with the directors have said also that they deliberately gave Sky a different backstory and a different source of powers to confuse people who are looking for parallels with the 616 verse. So, it's the origin story of a superhero, which, I mean, I like superheroes a lot now. The Marvel Cinematic Universe got me into superheroes. most of the comics I buy are still either licensed properties, which I mean Doctor Who, or I like Vertigo. I know, heresy, I'm in a video about Marvel, but Vertigo is sort of a sideline of DC, and therefore it's not quite, it doesn't quite fall under the Marvel DC rivalry in my opinion. But the origin story of a superhero, and I mean, we've got Iron Man, we've got Captain America, we've got Hulk. We don't have Black Widow yet, sadly. But I think that doing it this way cements that heroes are, or can be, like, one of the first things one of the first big speeches Coulson makes at the end of the pilot is that heroes aren't heroes because of what they have that we don't. It's because of what they do with it. And so I'm extremely interested to see what Skye does with this power, if she can control it, if she even recognizes she has it, or if she's still slightly dazed from the whole experience. But it is going to be tied in with her, in her mind, with the death of Trip, which is horrible. But I mean, wherever they go with the character now, I'm behind them. I think this is going to be fascinating, and just that she's had so much change happen to her, but it hasn't really changed who she was. I mean, I was thinking the other night about Skye, and about how she really didn't have people to depend on, but I thought about it a little bit more, and that didn't make her hostile or bitter or suspicious of people. I mean, sure, there was the whole Rising Tide hacker thing, but she didn't assume everybody was out to get her, and she wasn't very closed off. She was very warm and welcoming to people, and despite everything she'd been through growing up, and despite everything she's been through now. So it'll be interesting to see how she deals with all these new situations and new powers. And I'm sorry, Papa Poots, you are totally wrong. The team's going to love her and care for her and protect her no matter what. She is their Skye, not yours. And she will be loved no matter how frightening this change is for her. Plus, I just thought of this. Earthquakes aren't that much of a problem if you've got a great big plane that you can fly in, you know? I mean, there's a bonus. So, yeah, there's a lot of thoughts about the transformation and such. The ending clips of everybody were very painful. Fitzsimmons hugging, just clinging to each other for dear life. Mac and... Not Mac. Yes, well, Mac. Okay, I'll go with Mac. Mac and Coulson. And like I said, I'm hoping he's still alive. I'm hoping that the conclusion of the ritual knocked the city out of his head and that he's still himself. Bobby and Hunter. I mean, I don't know if I show them as a couple, but I do have a tag for them. It's called Demon Exes because of his comments about Bobby being his demon ex-wife. May in that scene really hurt because I kept thinking of the song King and Lion, Heart and Lion, and as the world comes to an end, I'll be there to hold your hand, but nobody was there. And there was this beautiful meta too I saw about how May, when she was in Old Shield, her job was to get everyone else out, not to be the last one standing, and now her job is to be the last one standing, and that's just as hard or even harder to stay and watch when you know that there's nothing you can do and you have to carry on. And it really hurt that May was alone, waiting to know what happened to everyone. And then someone had the horrible bad taste to point out that until Skye saw Trip in the Chamber of Transformation, she probably thought he was dead, along with everyone else on the bus, because she'd heard Whitehall say that he'd commanded the plane to be shot down. I mean, May did some amazing flying there, but just... Okay, so, at the end of the episode, and the end of this blog post, the status of affairs in the Shieldom by main character Coulson, alive. Injured, but not in a fatal or possibly fatal way, just in a very painful way. May, alive, but apart from the rest of the team. Fitzsimmons, alive, but traumatized again. Sky, alive, transformed. I don't know how she's going to get out of the rock chamber, although if she has any level of power, control over her powers at all, she can hopefully break out. Trip, dead, and going to remain so, I believe. Ward, off on the run with Marina, and you'll notice I haven't talked about him very much, but I don't really care about Ward. Mac, unknown. I'm going to be an optimist here and say he's alive, but not fully aware of what he's been doing or where he is. Lance and Hunter, alive. Anybody else? Nothing. Yeah, Whitehall's dead. Coinings are back at the base. I think I'm just going to start calling them the Clonings. First of all, because I keep confusing their name with the name of some of my mom's relatives. And because it's funny. They're the Clonings. And they come in batches.